A life without a goal is like a ship without a destination, drifting endlessly across an uncertain ocean, carried by the unpredictable winds of circumstance rather than guided by the purposeful direction of intention. And when we pause to truly reflect upon this metaphor, it becomes clear that without a goal, life loses its sense of structure, direction, and meaning. For just as a ship without a port wanders aimlessly across the seas, subject to storms, currents, and tides it cannot control, so too does a human being without a goal find themselves tossed about by external influences, unable to harness their true potential or create a legacy of significance. And this truth resonates across history, philosophy, and human experience, because every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every story of transformation begins with the spark of a clear goal. For goals serve as the compass of the human spirit, aligning energy, focus, and willpower toward a chosen horizon. And when we lack this compass, we find ourselves consumed by distractions, trapped in cycles of monotony, or seduced by the fleeting comforts of mediocrity, never realizing the vast oceans of greatness we could have sailed across if only we had charted a destination. And in this sense, goals do more than provide direction. They infuse life with purpose, passion, and resilience. For the pursuit of a worthy goal strengthens character, fuels perseverance, and teaches us discipline, qualities that cannot be forged in idleness or aimless drifting. And consider how different our daily actions become when we are guided by a goal. For the smallest task, whether reading a book, practicing a skill, or making a decision, suddenly gains significance when aligned with a larger vision. Just as each wave and gust of wind, no matter how subtle, contributes to the eventual arrival of a ship at its harbor. And conversely, when goals are absent, life becomes a repetition of meaningless days, each indistinguishable from the last, much like the endless expanse of the ocean, where the ship wanders with no anchor of certainty. And over time, this aimlessness breeds frustration, regret, and the haunting realization that years have slipped away without progress or fulfillment. Which is why so many philosophers, leaders, and mentors insist that clarity of goal is the foundation of success, because it transforms existence from passive drifting into active navigation. And navigation requires not just awareness of where one is, but also determination of where one is going. And here lies the transformative power of goals. They provide us with a future to move toward, a reason to wake up with energy, and a standard against which to measure our growth. And when life challenges us with storms, failures, rejections, setbacks, it is the presence of a clear goal that keeps us afloat. For the sailor who knows his destination will endure the fiercest winds with courage, while the one who sails without purpose will surrender to despair at the first sign of adversity. And this truth is reflected in countless real-life examples, from scientists who dedicated decades to discoveries that changed the world, to artists who painted tirelessly until their visions became immortal, to ordinary individuals who overcame extraordinary odds simply because they held firmly to a goal that gave them strength. And it is worth noting that the power of a goal is not limited to ambition or material success. For even in the realm of personal growth, relationships, and spirituality, goals serve as guiding stars, reminding us of who we wish to become, how we wish to live, and what legacy we wish to leave behind. And in contrast, a life lived without reflection, without intention, without a defined destination, risks becoming an unfulfilled journey, where the treasures of potential remain buried beneath the waves of wasted time. And this is perhaps the most tragic consequence of living without goals, that we may reach the end of life's voyage only to realize that we never truly lived, that we merely existed, floating along paths dictated by others, never seizing control of our own ship, never daring to plot a bold course across the seas of possibility. And to prevent this tragedy, one must understand that setting goals is not about rigidly predicting the future, but about giving oneself the courage and clarity to move forward with intention. For even if the destination evolves, even if the storms alter the route, the very act of sailing with purpose ensures growth, discovery, and meaning. Much like the ship that, even if it does not reach its original port, still experiences adventure, progress, and mastery of the seas by virtue of striving toward a goal. And so it is with life. For goals ignite the human spirit, transform effort into achievement, and distinguish existence from living. And when we dare to set bold goals, we awaken within ourselves a reservoir of creativity, resilience, and passion that we never knew existed, because goals force us to stretch beyond comfort, to battle inertia, and to rise above mediocrity. And in doing so, they shape us into stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled individuals, while at the same time inspiring others to sail toward their own horizons. And this ripple effect ensures that a life with goals not only transforms the individual, but also contributes to the progress of humanity as a whole. For every invention, every masterpiece, every act of service, every movement of change was born from a goal set by someone who refused to drift, someone who chose to steer their ship, no matter the uncertainty of the seas. And that choice, to live with a goal, is the difference between a life of regret and a life of fulfillment, between a voyage wasted in circles and a journey remembered for its courage, growth, and contribution. And so we must all ask ourselves, what harbor do we seek? What legacy do we wish to leave? And what vision will guide our days? For if we fail to answer these questions, we risk becoming wanderers in the vast ocean of time. But if we choose to set a goal, to define our purpose, and to steer our ship with intention, then no storm, no current, no obstacle will be strong enough to derail us from eventually reaching a destination worth living for. And that, ultimately, is the essence of life's voyage. That without goals, we drift. But with goals, we arrive. We grow, we contribute, and we truly live.